1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. I am one of your hosts, Precious D.
And I am another one of your hosts, Honey Bee.
Today, we're going to be talking about the Valley of Gwangi, but...
Gwangi?
Gwangi? Gwangi? Jumanji, the Valley of Jumanji. But first, we have some kaiju news.
Ow, ow, ow. I am so excited for this week's kaiju news.
Those of you who are really into kaiju may already know all this, but if you're just a casual fan because of this show, some of this might be new to you. November 3rd was Godzilla Day. It's Godzilla Day every year.
Happy Godzilla Day.
Honeybee and I were not able to go to the Fathom event of Godzilla against Mechagodzilla because they weren't showing
Which was
here.
bullshit.
Yeah. But Toho announced that next Godzilla Day 2023, they will be releasing a new Godzilla movie, which apparently is done with preliminary filming and is in post-production already.
Yeah, they released the name today, I think. Was it today?
That is a different thing. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Rewind.
I guess you saw the same tweet that I did.
Probably.
But first, on Godzilla Day this year, a short film was released on YouTube. I think they showed it at the big G-Fest in the one they have in Japan. There's a G-Fest here in America, and there's also one in Japan. And it is called, so it's a little short film called Godzilla versus Gigan Rex, or Gigan. I'm not sure how we haven't watched that movie yet, so I don't know how it's pronounced. But 50 years ago, Godzilla versus Gigan came out. And a few years ago, these same people made an even shorter film that was really just a kind of proof of concept. And that was only about a minute long. This one is more like, 6 minutes, 8 minutes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So anyway, it's on YouTube. It's on the Godzilla channel on YouTube. Have you watched it yet, Honeybee?
No, I have not.
Well, we'll talk about it in more detail when we do Godzilla versus Gigan.
I did see little still frames from it posted around, but I have not seen it.
Like I said, it's a short film. It's basically a monster fight. It's computer generated, but it's
looks great.
Fun. It's fun. So the new movie coming out right now, it is tentatively titled Godzilla Zero, and it will be directed, or has been directed by, since they finished principal photography, Japanese filmmaker Takashi Yamazaki. He has not exactly done a kaiju movie, but in one of his movies, Always Sunset on 3rd Street 2, there is a Godzilla fantasy sequence.
Ooh, so he's a fan.
Yeah, I have not seen the movie, but I have seen that scene. You can find that on YouTube as well.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was excited at first. Now everybody's kind of like, oh, is it going to be any good? Because this guy hasn't done it before. I mean, if he's a good filmmaker, he's a good filmmaker. And if he's a fan, I have no problem.
Yeah, seriously, everyone just chill. It's not that deep. It'll be fine.
So, Honeybee, do you want to do the next piece of news that came out today?
Well, today I don't think it was on Twitter actually, so maybe it wasn't the same tweet, but I saw that they released the name of the new Godzilla Kong movie.
Yes, the next MonsterVerse movie.
Yes, the next MonsterVerse movie, and it is going to be Godzilla and Kong. Or is it Kong and Godzilla?
It's Godzilla and Kong.
Okay, yeah,
Godzilla versus Kong. Godzilla
Just
and Kong.
And Kong. Oh,
So maybe they're friends now. So the movie we were talking about is a Japanese movie from Toho. This one is the new MonsterVerse movie from Legendary Pictures. I don't think they announced a date for it, but there'd been a lot of speculation about what their licensing deal regarding Godzilla was and if Godzilla was going to be in the next one. So now we know that he and Kong will both be in the next one. We still have the Monarch TV show to look forward to on Apple TV, and there's a King Kong cartoon that's supposed to be coming out on Netflix. So a lot of MonsterVerse stuff on the horizon.
Yay!
Honeybee, we have breaking kaiju news.
Breaking news, do tell.
This just in, Netflix has announced something called Gamera Rebirth. There's a teaser trailer and there is a poster, and that's it. They haven't said if it's a movie or a series or if it's live action or animated.
Oh my gosh.
It could be any of those things or any combination of those things. That's all we have is a title and an image. The image looks like a drawing. It's not a suit or anything. And the teaser trailer looks like it could be animated, but it could just be this is all we have right now because we haven't filmed anything yet. But there were recent Godzilla animated projects, so maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know, but Kaiju Twitter is very excited, and so are we.
Yay! So excited.
So I don't know if, folks, sometimes we record these things a week or two ahead of time, and our Kaiju news gets a little outdated. So I don't know if we need to start doing just little special short Kaiju news episodes. Of course, if you follow us on Twitter or Instagram, we always repost any big stories that we see coming along. We retweet things from like Kaiju News Outlet and that kind of stuff. So if you really want to
follow us.
Yes, follow us if you want up to the minute Kaiju news.
I'm trying to be better about my social media-ing.
You're trying to tweet more just as Twitter's falling apart.
Yeah. Always late to the show.
So anyway, that's all we have on that, folks. As information comes out, we will let you know and follow along the news with us.
Gamera.
They got to use that song.
They have to.
And that's it for now for Kaiju News.
Yeah, baby.
Let's look at the Valley of Gwangi. So this is sort of not exactly a remake. It's from the same source material as The Beast of Hollow Mountain.
Yeah, it's like if that movie was better.
So this is what Wikipedia has to say about it. Although it depends on which article you're looking at. They tell it slightly different on the Gwangi page than they do on the Hollow Mountain page. But apparently Willis O'Brien wrote a script and was trying to get it made for something called the Valley of the Mists. And that had to do with dinosaurs. The Valley of the Mists. More than one mist. Mists. And he couldn't get it made. But then he was in talks to do the effects for the Beast of Hollow Mountain, which has the same sort of premise. The cowboys and dinosaurs. All of these things are cowboys and dinosaurs. He ended up not actually doing the effects for Beast of Hollow Mountain, but he has got a partial credit for the story. So then, like 7 years after he died, they reworked his story of Valley of the Mists into this movie, The Valley of Gwangi. So it's all cowboys versus dinosaurs, and it's all from Willis O'Brien's idea, but it's not a straight up remake. But it's got a lot of the same elements. They're both set in Mexico.
The whole movie really felt like, oh, cool, like they redid it and it's so much better.
So The movie starts out, I'm going to get to the summary from Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. But the
Thanks,
movie
Wikipedia.
opens saying, somewhere south of the Rio Grande. And I'm like, what? If you mean Mexico, just say Mexico. Somewhere south of the Rio Grande is anywhere from Mexico to Tierra del Fuego. What the? Is it in Australia? Australia's south of the Rio Grande? Just say it's Mexico. What? Why are you being cutesy about it? I don't get it. So, in Mexico at the turn of the 20th century, yeah, it says somewhere south of the Rio Grande at the turn of the century, a cowgirl named T.J. Breckenridge, they never tell us what T.J. stands for, hosts a struggling rodeo.
But this isn't where we start though. But this isn't the beginning of the movie. We have like a little before credit scene.
What does it start with?
It starts with a guy and he has the little like bag, and in the bag you hear like neighing, and you're like, what the fuck, is there a horse in that bag? Yeah. And then the crazy old lady curse, and then it's like Warner Bros. Films, and then like the credits. And I feel like we've been in Toho, well, in Japan so much. It's like nice to. I always like so excited before, like, yay, we're going to Japan because the movies are so much better. But now we've been in Japan for so long, I'm like, oh, sweet, we're in Mexico.
I should mention the cast, I guess. James Franciscus is Tuck. Gila Golan is TJ. Richard Carlson as Champ. Lawrence Naismith as Professor Bromley, Frida Jackson as Tia Zorina, Gustavo Rojo as Carlos, Dennis Kilbane as Rowdy, Mario de Barros as Bean, and Curtis Arden as Lope.
Lopito!
Is that even a name? It's like they were spelling my name and then gave up.
Yeah, I was like, Lopi. They call him Lopi, like very Lopi through the movie. And I was like, wow, that's... Yeah, I was like, are they trying to say, is it Lupe?
Yeah, but Lupe is normally a woman's name, so I don't know what's with his name. Give me a name that sounds Spanish.
In the actual credits, they spelled it Lope.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, okay. But Lopito.
I need a name that sounds Spanish. You mean a Spanish name? No, I mean a name that sounds Spanish, not an actual Spanish name. Just one that sounds Spanish. Spanish adjacent.
Yes.
Ay. I'd like to also apologize for the use of the word gypsy in this summary, but that is the term that's used in the film itself. And whoever wrote this summary could not be bothered to update it to something more appropriate. Because as we mentioned before, we don't say gypsy. We don't say gypsy
from the people with a I heard you were telling Gabe in one of the episodes that it's Roman. Is that what you said?
Roma or Romani is a more accurate and appropriate name. That would be what they call themselves. So there you go. You can look it up. You can Google it later. I read this whole article about you white ladies who do your travel blogs need to stop referring to yourselves as gypsies. It's not okay, and you need to stop doing it.
Oh, man. I have a friend who calls me a gypsy if he hasn't seen me in a while. He'll be like, where have you been, you damn gypsy?
Yeah,
and I...
No longer appropriate. Anyway,
maybe that's why I love it. None of your business.
There's a turn of the century. The lady's got a carnival. This guy, Tuck Kirby, has come to town. Immediately, Lope tries to latch onto him. You need a guide. You need a horse. Give me some money.
Yeah, because Lope is a hustler, baby.
Yes. It says here he intends to join the rodeo on a quest for fame and fortune. I don't remember him mentioning that.
I do. The only thing I remember him mentioning is that like he had his own business, but that because his Paul was dead and he had his own business and he's like straight about that money. Lopito is a G.
He starts off with a dead father already. Panchito had to earn his dead father, but this kid starts out with one already. This refers to Tuck as a heroic former stuntman working for Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. He's not working for Buffalo Bill, is he?
And he's not a fucking heroic character at all. He's more like a Carl Denham type.
There is something about maybe Buffalo Bill wanting to buy out her show. Oh, I know. He does seem to have an offer, or he either has the offer or is aware of the offer that Buffalo Bill wants to buy the Wonder Horse from her. Anyway, he goes to see, there's this Wild West show, this rinky-dink one-horse Wild West show. It's not one horse. They do a whole Indian War reenactment. They're performing locally. He used to be with this show. They do a whole Cowboys versus Indians covered wagon. They set the wagon on fire, which seems to be part of the planned part of the show because it's not bothering the guy that's in the wagon at all.
Yeah, I was going to say with a man in it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is specially treated canvas. It's going to burn up quickly. It won't bug me, I guess. That seems to be his attitude. And then when that bit's over, then she does this bit, TJ, where she rides a horse up to a platform, who then dives into a pool surrounded by a burning ring of fire.
Ring of fire, the ring of fire!
And this is the horse that Wild Bill wants to buy.
Question: have you ever ridden a horse?
Yeah.
Nice. Same. Have you ever ridden a wet horse?
I have not.
While you were also soaking wet. It just sounds like a fucking nightmare to me. And when because I have ridden horses, and when she like gets out of that pool and they put her and she gets on top of the wet horse and she is soaking wet and she rides off, I was just like, oh God,
squish,
no.
Squish, squish, squish. You just imagine this blanket in the saddle going squish, squish, squish. The wet leather of the saddle squishing against her thighs in her skimpy outfit.
That was horrible.
I think I've seen, I mean, not in person, but I think I'm aware of diving horse routines. But we seem to cut. We seem to cut to stop motion when this horse dives. I don't think we saw an actual horse dive in this movie.
No, it was a tiny toy horse.
Yeah. Anyway, TJ and Tuck used to be a thing, but then he just skipped town and broke her heart. And now he's back and she doesn't want to hear about it. She doesn't want to know him, doesn't want to hear about his offer.
Yeah, but then he does make a weird joke about spanking her when they first have this confrontation where we find out that it's her ex-partner. He's like, he says something like, I'm going to bend you over my knee. I was like, shit.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. Let's see.
He's such a skeezy character.
Anyway, it says here that it kind of jumps. It just says TJ finally accepts Tuck when he saves Lope from a bull and the two kiss. They don't mention that after he saves Lope, then Carlos has to save him. Carlos does the real work.
For real.
He grabs Lope but then they both kind of fall down and then Carlos comes in and literally grabs the bull by the horns.
Yeah, he puts him in a sleeper hold.
They're doing a bullfight.
Is she dubbed?
I don't think so.
It was so weird in the movie. It just felt like for some reason, maybe just her voice was off a little bit or something, because it seemed like she was dubbed in certain spots.
She's European. She's born in Poland. She had a slight accent going on. But they're doing practicing bullfighting. And then they stop, and then Lope, like a dumbass, grabs one of the capes or a coat or something, goes in there trying to do it himself, and that's why he has to be rescued.
Yeah, have we already seen the professor at this point, or no?
It's about to get to it.
Oh, okay.
See, this is just jumping straight ahead. It says, TJ has an ace she hopes will boost attendance at her show, a tiny horse called El Diablo. Tuck meets a British paleontologist named Horace Bromley who is working in a nearby Mexican desert. Bromley shows Tuck fossilized horse tracks, and Tuck notes their similarity to El Diablo's feet. Tuck sneaks Bromley into the circus for a look at El Diablo, and Bromley declares the horse to be a prehistoric Eohippus.
Yeah, so we got to talk about this because this is another reason why this guy is not heroic. I don't know why he's described as a heroic figure, but he left TJ and then he comes back and he's like, oh, whoa, look how hot I am. And then he like totally, she finally like puts some trust into him and shows him this tiny horse. And the first thing he does is go and gets an outsider, a stranger, this doctor. The first thing he does is go behind her back and like betray her. This is like a secret for their show.
Uh-huh.
The whole movie, I just feel like this guy is such a skis ball.
I think this is
And
kind
he's
of.
made out.
I feel like this is kind of out of order. I don't think this summary is accurate though. I think he had already met the professor and they talked about the horse. And then when he sees the horse, he's like, "Oh, this is exactly what the professor was looking for."
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
totally.
thought I didn't get that. I didn't get the sense that he was trying to screw her. Just that, oh my goodness, this scientist was looking for this thing, and now here it is. I should tell him.
did. I was like,
because it's not like they were
what
gonna.
an
It's not like
ass.
they were gonna steal it. I think he was just, the science.
But then
of it
they
all.
have this moment. They have this moment, both of them, where they're standing there and they're so wrapped up in their own greed, they don't even hear each other talking. They're literally talking to themselves about the horse and the money that they're going to make off of this tiny horse, both of them. So it wasn't like a innocent thing.
Was Bromley interested in the money? I think he was more interested in the scientific discovery. I mean, it's going to be good for him.
He's
career.
interested. He's interested in his own career. That's what it
Yes.
is. It's like all the fame and everything that it's going to bring him. He's going to be the one that discovers blah blah blah.
Yes, he's going to get prestige, but there's no money in his line of work.
But it's still
gonna
greed.
get bragging.
It's still the greed
you're
of it.
right.
It's still him. He wants
its
it
own
for
way.
him.
It's his pride. Yes, it's still part of the same selfish motivation. He wants the glory, even if it doesn't mean cash. It's going to be glory for him. Anyway, the tiny horse and of course the horse is a little stop motion horse on the table. The tiny horse came from a place known as the Forbidden Valley. A gypsy known as Tia Zorina claims that the horse is cursed. I don't understand why they were characterized as gypsies rather than just native
villagers,
Americans, native Mexicans, native North Americans, whatever.
Villagers.
I don't. I mean, was this written by someone who's never been to Mexico? I don't know.
Probably.
Anyway, she claims the horse is cursed and demands that it be immediately returned. Later, she and the other gypsies collaborate with Bromley to steal El Diablo and release it back in the valley. Bromley hopes to follow the horse to its home in search of other prehistoric specimens. Carlos, an ex-member of the gypsy tribe, No, you were never an ex-member. It doesn't work that way. Now working for TJ Circus, walks in on the theft and tries to stop it, but is knocked out. Tuck arrives just as the gypsy posse leaves. Carlos sees him as he is regaining consciousness. Tuck notices that the horse is missing and sets off after Bromley. When TJ and her crew discover Carlos claims that Tuck has stolen El Diablo for himself. Carlos, TJ, and the others decide to follow Tuck.
It's because of what he saw. He really does believe that.
Yeah, I guess I blinked during this scene because I got confused in the later scene when he and Carlos have an issue about this.
Well, yeah, because he's like, he has this issue with Carlos as if Carlos lied, as if Carlos was like,
Right.
oh, it was him who lied, but he didn't lie. He just, when he woke up and he was regaining consciousness, old douchey face was the first person he saw. So he was like,
he
oh,
misunderstood.
Yeah, exactly.
He misunderstood what he saw, but he didn't purposely slander him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Carlos, TJ, and the others decide to follow Tuck and Bromley into the valley because, to me, Carlos seems like the real hero of this movie. Making their way into the Forbidden Valley, justice for Carlos. Tuck, TJ, and the rest of the group meet up and soon discover why the valley is said to be cursed when a pterodon swoops down and snatches Lope, but due to the weight, it falls back to the ground. There was a whole thing, though, with them finding a passageway.
Oh, is that what happened?
I guess, yeah. But they had to widen the passageway so they could get their horses in by making some rocks fall. They pull some rocks out of the way, and so this is all just a ripoff of Arthur Conan Doyle story, the Lost World. So there's valley that they're in is isolated and hard to get to. and they've been trapped within
and
there
has
for
its
millions
own
of years.
dinosaurs and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it tries to carry off Lope, but this pterodon doesn't know how to estimate how much weight it can lift because it's too much.
I was wondering why did he fall? I was like, did someone shoot him? I didn't really understand because he flew for quite some time before he fell down. So I wasn't really sure what brought him to the ground, but I guess it makes sense. I don't know. that Lupito was too
he got
heavy.
tired, I guess. He got tired. After Carlos kills the pterodon by twisting its neck, so he was just practicing earlier.
He breaks his neck with his bare hands.
He was practicing earlier on big, thick bull necks, and then when he got a hold of a pterodon, he just snapped his scrawny neck. They spot an ornithomimus, which they chase after in the hopes of capturing it. Just as it is about to escape, it is killed by Gwangi, a vicious Allosaurus, which chases Bromley and the rest of the group. Oh, he's an Allosaurus. He's not a Tyrannosaurus. They're very similar. He is, however, purple, so I thought of him as Barney. This is Barney versus the Cowboy Circus is the subtitle of this movie.
Gosh.
However, a Strachiosaurus appears and drives Gwangi away. As Gwangi leaves, he takes the dead pterodon with him. He's like, fine, but I'm going to eat this.
Like,
take this with me for later. I'll snack on this later. Later, Gwangi pursues the group to their base camp, and they try to rope him down. So they do this whole Land of the Lost thing where they find a cave that's partway up a cliff that has a convenient ramp going up to it. They set up camp in there. But then he chases them down there later. And they try to rope him down, but he breaks free when the Strachiosaurus reappears. Gwangi battles and kills the Strachiosaurus and later manages to catch and kill.
Monster fight!
Yeah. And most of these dinosaurs are purple, and one of them's got stripes. Now, we don't know what color their skin was. We have no idea. Artists tend to make guesses just based on what lizards look like. But these days, there are some colorful lizards. These days, though, they think they may have had feathers or feather-like things on their skin. So, who knows? But this movie's decided they are mostly purple. Let's see, where the hell were we? Okay.
We were at the monster fight.
Yeah, we had a little technical difficulty. We're back now. Yes, it was a big monster fight, and Carlos died. So,
Carlos!
I was really upset. Man. Yes, he was the real hero.
He was.
And then then they all run out of the valley, and Gwangi tries to chase them, but then the rocks we mentioned earlier that were moved in the passageway, he gets knocked out. When he tries to come through the passageway, he can't quite fit. He knocks some rocks loose and gets knocked out. Securing the creature with ropes, Tuck and the other men in the group take Gwangi back to town to be put on display in TJ's show. Because this happens at the turn of the century, so none of these dumbasses have ever seen King Kong to know that this is a bad idea. On the opening day of the show, the dwarf gypsy sneaks in. Oh yeah, there's a dwarfed?
He's a little person.
He is right, but the text here says dwarfed, as if he was turned into a dwarf.
It was part of the curse.
Yeah, as if something happened to him rather than him just being a dwarf. Anyway, yes, he's a dwarf, and he sneaks in and starts unlocking Gwangi's cage in an effort to free him, only to be killed when Gwangi breaks free. The crowd begins to flee as Gwangi attacks.
I have to say that in this movie, I feel like it's maybe one of our first, correct me if I'm wrong, but where the monster...
Where a dinosaur kills a dwarf?
No. No. Oh, no, where a monster, like the costume, or I guess it's not a costume in this case, but the kaiju in question is good enough to eat shit and swallow shit and chew on people. It's not just like, a picture of a guy in a mouth. Like we're actually to the point now where now our kaijus can start like ripping people apart and,
Kong bit some people and spit them out.
Yeah, but I think it's because he's in a suit and he can't swallow.
Kong's not in a suit.
Oh. What do you mean?
Welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. Kong's stop motion by Willis O'Brien. He's not a suit.
Oh,
He's not a suit
okay.
until Kong.
Okay, but he's a puppet.
Yes.
The thing that he is cannot physically swallow.
Yes, there's no esophagus. There's no tube.
Yeah, and it's not, and it's in a time when it's not good enough to make it look like that. So what they do instead is make it look like he's bit someone and spit them out.
Right. Yes.
But now we're at the point where we can actually like make it look like we're actually doing shit now.
I guess we've seen people get chomped, but I don't know if we've seen the monster swallow anybody before. Did he swallow the dwarf, or did he just? I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, but when he's eating like a pterodactyl or pterodon or whatever it is, he bends down, like rips a piece off of it. It's bloody, and then it's like we actually are getting. It's not just like a picture on a picture or whatever other effects have been used.
Right. Anyway, this cage is covered by a big cloth, and there's a balloon attached to it. So the way they're going to unveil him is to let the balloon it's held down with ropes, and they're going to play out the rope and let the balloon raise the cloth from the cage. And when it goes up, and there's a band playing music and everything, when it goes up, the dinosaur's got the dwarf in his mouth, and everybody starts screaming, and they try to lower the thing, and then it starts kicking at the cage, and they can tell he's going to break loose, and everybody just starts to panic. We had a discussion before about are dinosaurs kaiju, and this dinosaur certainly behaves like a kaiju in that he gets captured and dragged out of his home and then runs on a rampage through the streets of a city. So this dinosaur
checks out.
This dinosaur counts. Yeah, he certainly counts as whether or not dinosaurs in general are kaiju. This one certainly behaves like one, so we'll count him. That doesn't mean we're covering every single movie that has a dinosaur in it. So let's see. The crowd begins to flee as Gwangi attacks, and Tia Zorina is trampled to death in the chaos. Bromley is crushed by a broken piece of the cage. Oh, I don't remember that. And Gwangi attacks and kills a circus elephant before rampaging through the town, which also gives us a good
Which is
scale.
cool that they put exactly. I was about to say that. It's cool that they put the elephant in there because we can see exactly how big he is.
Yeah. Tuck, accompanied by TJ and Lope. Oh, Lope, by the way, has a very nice suit now. So they've bought him. It's reminding me of the kid in Gorgo, who also does not have a father. The monster.
Aww.
Yeah, this is kind of a rip-off of Gorgo. That kid doesn't have a father. That creature is also being displayed in a circus. Both of them have just sort of been adopted now by the people that found the creature and been given better clothes. Anyway, let's see. They try to hide the crowd in a cathedral, but Gwangi finds them and breaks in. Tuck urges the crowd out through the back exit, leaving Tuck inside with Gwangi, TJ, and Lope.
The coolest part is the organ when he falls back on the organ in the church.
Yeah.
That was so cool. I love that part.
It just keeps playing, though. He falls on it and hits the keys, and it makes an organ noise, and then it just kind of keeps going. I guess he must have hit one of the bellows switches or something, so air just keeps flowing for quite some time after he gets off of the keys. Let's see. Though Gwangi tries to eat them, he is distracted when the cathedral's organ is accidentally sounded off as Tuck falls backwards into the keyboard. Tuck then manages to wound the dinosaur with a flag and throws a torch on the floor near Gwangi, setting the building on fire, setting the hundreds of years old cathedral that is the center of the town and the community on fire. Tuck and the others manage to escape, leaving Gwangi trapped in the burning, collapsing building. Shrieking in agony, Gwangi is finally crushed to death by the falling debris as Tuck, TJ, Lope, with tears in his eyes, and the townspeople look on. Monster die, everybody cry.
Everybody cry.
This was horrific. just one of the worst kaiju deaths we've seen, I think. Just getting burned alive when he was just minding his own business in his own little valley. Just doing his dinosaur thing. Goddamn white people. Just fucking up everything. Gypsies told you not to go in there. You wouldn't listen. You wouldn't listen.
If a blind gypsy tells you something is cursed, and she's like telling you that it's cursed, and she can't even fucking see it with her own eyeballs, you fucking believe that bitch.
These gringos come down here with their dog and pony show, and they burn down our cathedral, get our best dude, Carlos, killed.
After he saved everybody several times.
I'm not clear. So Carlos was part of the local tribe, but he's with the circus. Did he join the Wild West show when they arrived in town recently? Did he join them when they came through previously and traveled around with them? And now, do they come through every year? I mean, maybe they do because Tuck knew they were going to be there. Seemed to know they were going to be there. So maybe it's part of their annual circuit. I don't know. It's a movie full of assholes being assholes. It's all their own damn fault.
It really is like a movie full of assholes being assholes. I will agree there. I will say, though, in comparison, I want to say, like, the stop animation is really good in this movie. Everything's really fun to look at. The close-ups, like with the pterodactyl and Carlos breaking his neck, it looks really good. Like the pterodactyl, it doesn't look like a puppet or like a rubber or anything. It looks great. Right. And I think that there was a lot of really cool shit in this movie in comparison to Hollow Mountain. I thought like, because it's basically the same shit. Like it's basically the same story. So it just feels like a way better version of that. Yeah. And because of that, I am grateful because that was one of my least favorites ever in the history of ever. I think that's the only movie that I've given like 1 star to.
It's bad, but it did give us the Panchito. All the Panchitos that came after owe a debt to the original, to the OG Panchito.
I was so happy to listen to when I was listening to the interview that you did, that the kaiju movie that we get in January has a Panchito.
Yeah. Yes. I told him you'd be happy.
I know. I'm so excited.
I got distracted by the kaiju news. I didn't mention some of the stats. It was in color, 96 minutes from 1969, directed by Jim O'Connelly, produced by Charles H. Schneer and Ray Harryhausen. So all these dinosaurs effects are under the direction of Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah, baby. So that's why they were so great.
They're good. Yep, that is why they're good. Because Ray is the man.
Ray's the man.
I don't have any sort of budget or box office on it, but
okay. So, what do you think as in terms of stars? What you gonna give it?
I mean, I'm just gonna give it 3.
Nice. I'm gonna give it 4 because I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I also I'm a fan of dinosaurs. I really like dinosaurs, so I kind of feel like, ooh, this is kind of another movie that I'll watch over again in my dinosaur circuit of movies.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't like dinosaurs? Though, so I guess everybody does when they're kids, and then some of them. There's one of the streamers has a documentary about that.
Oh, really?
About something like "I love you, you hate me."
Oh.
It's a documentary about Barney and a lot of the backlash against.
Oh God, is Barney corrupt?
No, just how there was this cultural backlash against him. There was a lot of people who weren't children, and the target audience were like, "Oh my God, this fucking dinosaur!" They just hated him. I didn't like him. He's satanic. He's
what?
The kids.
Satanic?
Here, let me explain.
Okay.
I mean, I just came up with this idea at the time just as a way to attack what was just an annoying thing. But the children, it starts off pretty much every episode, the children gather around this idol and then say an incantation and summon up their demon lord of Barney. Because the stuffed animal, he starts off as an inanimate object, a stuffed animal that they circle around and say their incantation, and then they summon up this living being from the depths of hell. They then cavort with him for about a half an hour, after which he extracts their pledge of loyalty to him. I love you, you love me, we're a happy family, which is what a cult tells you, because they're not related. None of them are related. They're not, and they're certainly not related to Barney. But no, we are your family now, not your real family.
Oh my God, this is
and then says, "Won't you say you love me too? Bow down and tell me you love me." And then he goes back to the pits of hell until the next time.
Well, I just want to say that as a person who grew up like with Barney, like as it was happening, I was like the intended audience. Yep. I loved Barney, and now listening to you describe that really explains all of my kinks.
So I don't remember which service this thing is on, but it might be Netflix, it might be Hulu, I don't remember, but it's out there.
Well, damn it, I'm gonna have to watch it because
they're like interviewing the guy that did the guy who was Barney. I don't know if he was in the suit or if he was just a voice or if he was both, but they show them interviewing him.
Oh my God. This is fantastic.
All right, so let me find my list here. See what's up next. Folks, please follow us on all the socials. Send us a message. Send us a voicemail. Tell us what you thought of this movie. Tell us what you think of Barney. If my assessment of his satanic nature is accurate or not.
Oh my God.
I still got shit I'm trying to give away on Twitter as long as Twitter exists and isn't burned to the ground. So follow us on Twitter if you're not already. Once we get a certain number of followers, I will give away the videos. And we will eventually, if we haven't given them away by then, we'll add the Space Monster Blu-ray to that stack of videos. Next week is Gamera versus Jiger.
Gamera.
So it's back to Japan and back to Gamera.
Yay!
Back to Amazon Prime, where you can watch this movie.
Thanks, Mexico. It was fun.
And as the sun sets in the west, we say goodbye to the hidden valleys of Mexico. Next couple of movies are Space Amoeba, which should also be on Amazon, and Gamera vs. Zigra, and then Godzilla vs. Hedorah, which will be on HBO. That I won't get too far ahead, but that's what we've got coming up. We're in the 70s now.
Wow, we're in the 70s. Precious. We started in the 30s. That's pretty amazing.
Yes. Starting with starting with next week, Gamera versus Jiger, we will be in the 1970.
Oh,
so
I'm so excited. Yeah, cool.
All right, folks, that'll do it for Cowboys versus. There is actually a movie called Cowboys versus Dinosaurs from 2015. So maybe we'll cover that when we finally get up to 2015. You can watch that now on Tubi or Pluto or Redbox or Vudu. It's free on all of those things.
Wow.
Yeah, it stars Eric Roberts. It's probably an Asylum production. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Until next time, I have been Precious D.
And I have been Honey Bee. Thanks, guys.
Remember to keep calm and seek shelter in basements.
And please don't misuse science.
We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texacato Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/mmftg.